Hello everyone, welcome back to the course on electromagnetic theory and interference. In this fourth module, we are going to see about transmission line theory and introduction to interference. So let's get started in this session by understanding what is transmission lines. We already know that wave propagation is said to be unguided. In such a case, uniform plane wave is existing throughout all space, and electromagnetic energy associated with that also spreads over a wider area. So the typical example for wave propagation in unbounded media is radio or TV broadcasting, where the information is sent to everyone, okay, whoever is interested. Another means of transmitting power or information is by using the guided structure. So we have already seen one type of guided structure called waveguide in the previous module, and in today's module we are going to see about one more guided structure called transmission lines. These guided structures helps to guide the propagation of electromagnetic energy from source to the load. The transmission lines are commonly used in power distributions, okay, by using the two-wire line at low frequencies, and in communications by using twisted pair and coaxial cables at high frequencies. So transmission line basically connects two or more parallel conductors from source to load. The source can be a hydroelectric generator, transmitter, or an oscillator, and a load can be a battery, antenna, or an oscilloscope. We have already seen the typical transmission lines are going to be the coaxial line, two-wire line, and microstrip line. So in each of these lines, there are two conductors in parallel. Okay, the coaxial cables we know that we are using in laboratories. Okay, and in connecting the TV set to the antenna. Microstrip lines, it is popular in the integrated circuits, where the metallic strips that is connecting the electronic elements are deposited on the dielectric substrate. So this middle white color is a dielectric substrate. Transmission line problems generally we are going to solve by means of electromagnetic field theory and electric circuit theory. These are the two major theories on which the electrical engineering is based upon. In this module, we are not going to focus on the EM field theory. We are going to use a circuit theory because it is easy to deal with mathematically. Our analysis of transmission line will include the derivation of transmission line equations and the characteristic quantity. Now we are going to describe the transmission line in terms of its line parameters, which are called resistance per unit length R, inductance per unit length L, conductance per unit length G, and capacitance per unit length C. So if you take a two-wire conductor transmission line, we can see the distributed parameters R, L, G, C are available across the entire length of the transmission line. So RL in resistance and inductance are in series, conductance and capacitance are in parallel. So because of the cross-sectional area of the conductor, we have the resistance per unit length R, which is measured in ohm per unit length, and whenever a current carrying conductor, whenever there is a current carrying conductor, magnetic flux will be associated with that. In that, inductance comes into picture. So the inductance per unit length is measured by Henry per unit length of the conductor. Then due to the dielectric separation between the two conductors, there will be a small amount of current called leakage current that is flowing in the dielectric, or it is called displacement current. So because of that, there is a conductance G per unit length, which is measured in mho per unit length or Siemens per unit length or ohm inverse per unit length. And because of the presence of, whenever there is a two metallic plates separated by a dielectric, we have a capacitive effect. Based on that, we have the capacitance per unit length, which is measured in farad per unit length of the conductor. So these line parameters R, L, G, C, they are not discrete or lumped. Rather, they are distributed as shown here, okay, along the entire length of the transmission line. So let us understand the difference between the lumped circuit and distributed circuit. So in lumped circuit, the elements are said to be concentrated at a single point. But here the elements RL, GC we have seen, right? Or they are all spread over the entire length, and they are a function of both position as well as time. Here, if you see in lumped circuit, voltage and current at any point is a function of time only, but here it is a function of both time and position. And when we go for lump circuit analysis, when the physical dimensions are small compared to the wavelength of the signal, whereas in distributed circuit, the physical dimensions are comparable or larger than the wavelength. We are going to use the simplified circuit laws like Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law for lump circuit analysis, whereas for distributed circuit we are going for more complex analysis by using the partial differential equations so that we can include the effect of both time and space. And here the examples we already know. It's a simple circuit with discrete resistors and capacitors for lump circuit. For distributed, we have seen a coaxial transmission line or a microstrip line or a two-wire line. All are the examples. And now let us see in each line we have a conductor and a dielectric, right? Conductors are characterized by its conductivity sigma c, permeability mu c, and permittivity, which is equal to permittivity of free space. And the dielectric is characteristic by conductivity sigma, permeability mu, and permittivity epsilon. And the conductance G is not equal to the reciprocal of resistance as we think. In transmission line, R is the AC resistance per unit length of the conductors, okay, and G is the conductance per unit length, as I said, because of the dielectric medium separating them. For each line, we can relate LC product is equal to mu into epsilon, G by C is equal to conductivity by permittivity. Okay. Now let us see what type of wave is getting, what mode of wave is getting propagated in transmission line. So to understand that, we are using a coaxial line that is connecting a source to the load, and here the switch is closed. When a switch is closed here, the inner conductor is made positive with respect to the outer conductor, okay, of the coaxial cable, so that the electric field will flow radially from the inner conductor to the outer conductor. The solid line represents the electric field, whereas because of the current flowing there inside the inner conductor, the magnetic field is circulating in nature. Okay, encircles the current carrying conductor. A pointing vector that is represented by E cross H, it points along the transmission line. Okay, thus by closing the switch simply, a disturbance is established, and that is going to appear as a transverse electromagnetic wave, okay, that is getting propagated along the line, which is a uniform plane wave. Okay, because of that only power is getting transmitted throughout the coaxial line. So we have come to the conclusion that the transmission line parameters are distributed in nature, and we have seen that it is going to support transverse electromagnetic mode of propagation. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you everyone. We will meet in the next session.